G'day guys and welcome, my name is Michael and I'm the DeadAussieGamer, here to share with you my tips, tricks, ideas and strategies for playing and running tabletop role-playing games. Today we're going to be answering a question that I received from the Discord channel about how do I recreate characters from movies, comic books, TV shows, whatever, and make them role-playing game characters. Well, that's a very interesting question and one that I think has a number of answers. There's just countless answers to how one does this. The first thing I'd probably say is that there are degrees in which a character is taken from another medium and put into Dungeons & Dragons, or whatever role-playing game you happen to play. For example, you could create a perfect mirror. You have an elf named Link, who's on a quest for Zelda. That is a 100% mirror character. I guess, best characters, in my opinion, are those who take the inspirational aspects of those characters and bring that percentage of mirroring the character as low as possible. They then become original characters, characters who almost seamlessly fit into whatever game you're playing, but at the same time pay a good homage to the character that you based it off. What do I mean by all this? Well, let's start with this. Let's say that you're on an adventure. It's the town of Holdsdeep, and they are being besieged by a green dragon who lives high up on the mountaintop, and you need to gather your group, head up the mountain, and manage to defeat the dragon to save the town. Pretty standard quest. Seems really interesting. So you have Bornak the barbarian, Wiltsgar the cleric, and of course Alamundir the sorcerer. But then you go knocking on a door and all of a sudden somebody yells out, "Cowabunga, dudes!" And suddenly you have Mikey from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as a monk turtle joining you. What does that do to your game? How does that make your character? Well, this is a 100% mirror. And sometimes 100% mirrors can be a little bit aggressive when it comes to their place in the setting. Unlike the others who kind of feel lived in and feel like a part of the world, because we as players understand that reference so clearly, it becomes very difficult to never see the Teenage Mutant Ninja Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle character in that setting, in that position, which breaks the immersion to a degree. If you're playing in a game where that is perfectly fine, it's a silly game, it's a fun game, it's a one-shot, great, fantastic. If your GM and the other players are happy with you, then it's all a matter of building at that point. You have the personality, you have the character, you have, of course, the attitude and the mannerisms of the character, because why else would you create something in another thing if you didn't like it, right? So all of that stuff's already done for you. It just comes down to the building, and building is super easy, honestly. Like, Ninja Turtle, monk, nice. Legend of Zelda, we're going to be doing Link, cool, fantastic. Elf, fighter, done. And it goes on like this. There is a positive and a negative side of building 100% mirror characters. The positive side is that they're very, very simple. And because they're simple, they're very, very appropriate for new players, new role players who are trying to get into the scene. It's because it's easy to emulate a character than it is to simply try to improv or to dig deep within your own creativity, to try and make your character as you go on the fly. That means that new players will easily play mirrored characters. Even if the GM creates pre-generated characters based off that, you could say, oh, he's kind of like Spider-Man, or, have a think about, like, Ganondorf, this major villain running around the place, and Super Mario is, like, going after them. Whatever the case is, it makes it easy and translatable to people who may not understand the idea or concept of role-playing. The rough side of it is that it can come across a little lazy if a player is very experienced and doing this. What I mean to say by this isn't that, you are lazy, blah, blah, blah. What I mean to say is that because you are not building the personality, because you're not building the mannerisms or any of these other things, effectively you're not building a character. You're making a build and then copy and pasting a personality on top of it. Or vice versa. You're copy and pasting a personality and then building mechanically a thing on top of it. It can frustrate some people, and I know it does. But I want people who do get frustrated by that to ask themselves, why is this player making a character like this? And realize that sometimes, it's because they're lazy. It's out there. but another reason is because they have a true love or appreciation of something that they have encountered, and they want to share that in a social environment. This game we play is a social environment. It's not about creating a Shakespearean piece of work where everyone must be completely immersed in the story and every single facet must delve into the deepest parts of literature. No, of course not. You know, you're there to have fun with friends and have a great time. So if someone pulls out like Mikey from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, you know, if they're a new player, let it go. If they're an experienced player who has just really gotten into the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie, fantastic, right? Remember, he's your friend and he loves Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and he wants to talk about it. He wants that to be a part of it because, you know, if he can't or if they can't role play their favorite character, right, in the way that they'd like, you know, that's a huge part of their enjoyment that they're no longer allowed to express in that role-playing setting. And sure, there are appropriate places for it, of course. There are always going to be the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle role-playing game, or even Rifts if you play Rifts. So yeah. 100% mirrors. These are the struggles. These are what you need, and this is where we're at. Let's move on, because I could go on all day about 100% mirror characters. Let's move the percentage marker down now to 75%. What is 75%? 75% is where the character has started to look a little bit away from the original personality. This is usually a physical change in some way. Now, these characters often get criticized as being spin-off or knockoff or OC characters from a different universe. You know, and I'm going to take all of those negative little emotions, I'm going to put it in a little box, and I'm going to leave it there. Because these characters are on the first roads to becoming original characters, proper original characters. Let's take the Ninja Turtle example, because I'm stuck with it now, and if I'm being dead honest, I can't think of another character that someone has put into my games other than Michelangelo. There was Cat in a Hat, but I wasn't the GM for that, so, you know, we don't talk about him. Or his bat. So let's take Mikey. What we do is we change the physical attributes of Mikey in order to make it more unique. So let's say Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. Okay, let's have like a surfy guy, you know, that's really cool. He does do the whole like party dude element through him. He uses nunchucks. Great, fantastic. But let's change the physical aspects of him. Maybe he's not a turtle. Maybe he's a raccoon. Person. You know, yeah, cool. All right, anthropomorphized raccoon. Very well. So this character named, let's say, Degas, because, you know, a Renaissance painter, you know, we changed his name, is a monk raccoon who uses a nunchuck, and he's pretty fun. He's very quirky. He likes to steal things. We're now changing little physical aspects to about a 75%. People looking at it who know Michelangelo will be able to recognize it, but there are distinct differences and changes. The great thing about these characters is it's, like I said, it is the connecting road. It is the road that lies just between that and an almost unrecognizable inspiration to this character. I love these ones. These ones are great, especially because, as many of you know, I play a lot of games in the online space. When you're playing a game for an audience, it's really good if people can actually connect those dots and they go, oh, wow, I really love this character. And if they know why, it's like, he's based in the character of Michelangelo. It's fantastic because then you create a connection to that person, socializing, bonding, and having a great time. It's a great place to be. The 75% is nice. Nicer than the 100%. Yeah, that is definitely where I like some of these mirror characters. Moving back down to the 50% mark. Now, the 50% mark is where we change so many different aspects of it that we keep only the core fundamentals of what motivates, what inspires, and what mannerisms that character has. So let's, again, keeping with Michelangelo, he is a party dude, so he likes fun, he is jovial, so let's create a jovial character. He is a martial artist, but his style is a little bit stranger than most. You know, very, very fluid, very, very energetic. Great, let's keep that. Mikey loves pizza. Let's find a food stuff and let's really get into it. Let's like be obsessed with this one particular food item. And lastly, he has brothers that he relies on. Maybe I can take that attitude and create like a family environment with my party. Now, you take these core concepts and you put them into any character. I am playing a rogue gnome who is really fun, really energetic, who does nothing but steal apples. He loves apples. He's obsessed with apple pie, apple pie, apple fritters, apple, whatever, everything. And that's what he does. He's this character that does this whole thing. And you can't look at it and go, oh, that's Michelangelo. But there's a ton of inspiration that came from that character to build this character. And that's where we sit at the 50%. The 50% really means that there is a 50-50 chance that someone will pick, hey, that's, Michelangelo. It reminds me of Michelangelo. This is where I think a lot of people build their characters that they base off pop culture. This is where it lives because it's a comfortable space. All you're really doing is taking the character that you loved, and then you're adding in the appropriate level of world building, character design, and storytelling to make that character appropriate for the setting that you're in. This is probably the best type of recreating character. So how do we make that character? Number one, identify what you specifically love about the character you're basing him on. So if I were to build a character off Michelangelo, I think my favorite part of him is the fact that he never shirks in the face of danger. He always kind of makes a joke about it, or he deals with danger through humor, and that's one aspect that I'd want to keep. You keep that motivation. The second thing you want to look at is what connects your character's motivations into the world around them, right? Like I can't simply just drop a turtle who's supposed to live in a sewer in a world that has no sewers with 4 turtle brothers who study martial arts if the turtles in my GM setting don't exist or happen to be, so far away from where they teach martial arts that it makes no sense. So the second thing is where do I fit in the world? And what do I need to change to fit in that world? Always hanging on to that thing that we loved the most. The third and final thing we need to do is talk to our GM. Talk to our GM. Just say, I have a character. I want to inspire this aspect of him. I want him to be this part of that world. And this is the thing I want to really keep. And then let your GM get some influence in. The thing is that we can only create our characters so far. But our GM, who is, of course, the omnipotent power within our role-playing games, is able to then move that even further. They might say, you know what, actually, turtles would work in my setting. Let's say that your character came from, the distant land and made it to the area where they teach martial arts and then returned. Or even better, if we had a rat folk do that and then try to bring martial arts into your region of the world. Again, it comes down to the GM being able to influence and help you build and create and shape the character so that it both suits everything around the story, the setting, and hangs on to those aspects you love. The last little bit is, of course, our 25%. Now, I think all characters are at 25%. 25% is where you look at a few different additives to my favorite aspect. You look at what motivates the original character. What motivates Mikey? Why does Mikey go out there? Well, Mikey was born into a family where family was the predominant, thing you were taught. You were taught morals. You were taught how to look after your family. You were then also taught martial arts, not to go around kicking butt, but to look after yourself and to hide and remain in shadows. So what you can do with this is take these themes and these aspects of the character, everything surrounding them, and pick and choose what you want. But then, pick and choose those same aspects from a different character, from other characters. So I might take Mikey's stealthing to try and protect himself and protect his family. And I might take Link's desire to leave the farm and go on a brave adventure. I might take the love story of Romeo and Juliet, for example. A tragic story where I can see that the woman I love is down a destructive path, but I'm too shy to approach her. I can barely speak around her. I hide myself to protect not only her and her, engagement, but also protect my heart as well. And suddenly I have an entirely unique character. This is the 25%. This is where you are taking bits and pieces of themes that you love from different characters and synergizing them into a single character. Now, we're not just copy and pasting, like a turtle who also flies spaceships, Star Fox, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. Let's also take, he also web swings. There we go. Thwam! We're not doing that. It's not about powers or abilities or what's cool. It's about those themes and those little undercurrent subtexts that exist with those characters that we then merge. All right. I hope that was helpful and not too pretentious. I mean, at the end of the day, recreating a character is your expression of your enjoyment of that character and that material. Role-playing games provide you a platform to do that. Just always be sure to talk to your players, talk to the other GM, or talk to the GM, and of course, yeah, you'll come to something fun, awesome, and amazing. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. If you've played a recreated character or a mirror character, let me know in the chat below. Tell me what you've played. I'm so interested in finding out all of these different characters and how they went. And of course, if you want to get notified for any other videos that I make, I usually try to get them out on Fridays, but if I'm too busy and stuff, it might wait till the following week. But I will do my best. Hit that bell button so that you can know whenever I decide to post stuff. And till next time, guys, game hard or die trying. Good night.